Okay, so now that we've got that set up, what we can do is another nice thing about this tool, this web application, is you can go back to setup, so you can see setup there, and you can create or reset the database, and it'll get rid of the comments that were in there. So now if I go back to XSS stored, you can see that that comment was removed and I've set the site back to its starting point. I need to make sure that the security level is still on low, right? So let's say someone else visits this website, right? And they're going to do another type of attack, right? So we'll do this. We'll see if we can steal the session ID or cookie from the user. So I've logged into this website. Let's pretend this is my website, and I've logged in as admin, right? So if I go home, right, or you can see here I'm logged in, username admin. So I've got administrative access to this website, and I'm going to sign this guest book again. This time we're going to try to steal the cookie, right? And I'm going to paste in here the code that we're going to use. Now you can see it's a script, right? And it says new space and then image with capital I, open and close parentheses, .src for source, and then the IP address of the machine that the computer, and then we're going to stick in this image call to point us to the attacker. So it's going to point us to the attacker's computer. So I've set up an IP address here, 172.16.10.55, and this should be the IP address of this machine. So let's see here if I can point that out here. So my backtrack machine, I'm the attacker, and my IP address is, let's say, oh, my IP address is 172.16.0.100, right? All right, 172.16.0.100. So I'm going to need to change that. So I'll change that to 0.100, right? So it's going to get an image file from the attacking computer /b.php, and this is just a phony PHP file that we set up. So I put b.php, then a question mark, and then an end quotation mark here. All right, so if you wanted to see that code large, here it is. Okay, so there we go, right here. Okay, and then plus document.cookie, and then a semicolon, and then end script, right? So what we can do is we can just sign the guest book with this code. So now the code is in here, right? It's invisible. You can't even see it because it was pointing to an image file that's actually a non-existent, it's a non-existent image file, right? So I'm going to put this over here, right? There we've connected to that site, right? And put that in the guest book. Let's open that up in the browser. What we'll do is we'll open that up over here. Let's see here, on Chrome. And we'll pretend like somebody else is visiting that web page. All right, so we'll say localhost DVWA. All right, so here's somebody who's going to visit the web page, and they've got their username, they have admin privileges, they log in, right, and they're ready to go. Now as soon as we click on XSS stored, it's going to open up that vulnerable page, which will then contact our system over here, and we need to be listening with an attack. So now what we're going to do is, I'll clear this here, we will set up a listener. So we'll set up a netcat listener, and we're going to listen verbosely on port 80, since the attack will be coming from port 80, or the redirect from this web page will be to an image file that's non-existent on port 80. So we set up a netcat listener on port 80, and to do this we're also going to need to have a special tool installed into our Firefox browser. You can see right now I have the tool installed right here, Tamper Data. So let me take you and show you this site. So the other tool that we're going to need is the Tamper Data add-on for Firefox. If you just put a search in for tamper space data, you'll get this website right here with the add-on called tamper data. And you can just download it and accept it and install it, right? So I'm going to install this, right? Install now, and then it's going to want you to restart Firefox. So we can do that. Let's restart Firefox, and then we'll have it done. Now, on the Backtrack browser, I already have it installed. You can see there it is, tamper data. So I'm going to open that up, right? And I have that ready to go. So now, our user over here is logged in, right? And our user here goes to the XSS stored, and when it does so, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to be ready to steal their cookie. So there's our netcat. Here's our vulnerable person who visits the website and then clicks on the vulnerability, and you can see there's the script and nothing's happening. Okay, so we have our netcat listener listening on port 80 on our attacking computer, right? So we're listening to see if somebody's going to hit this malicious page, right? So I'm going to go back to, and let's pretend like we're a victim, and we're going to go to the website. So we visit our website, and we log in with our administrative privileges that the attacker is going to try to steal. Right? So we're in here, and once again, now that we're in here, we also want to make sure that we have the security level set to low, right? So we're going to do that. We'll set the security to low. All right, so where is it? Here it is. DVWA security. We'll set it to low. All right, and then we'll visit our cross-site scripting page. Now, I deleted and reset the database, so I'm going to need to put that back in here. So we'll just pretend that, once again, that that's there already. Cookie, and we'll paste that in there. There's our source code, right, that we need, that's going to be in there. I'm going to get rid of the space between the document and the plus here, and I'm going to sign the guest book. And you can see as soon as I sign that guest book, right, with that malicious code, you can see that we've got a connection on the netcat, and there's the connection, and you can see right here security equals low, and then PHP session ID, and there's the cookie, right? So if somebody was to visit this, they would get that. And let's just prove it by doing that once again. So I'll go back to home, right? I'll log out, and I'm going to clear this. And we'll do this. We'll do it one more time. We'll say netcat listening verbosely on port 80. The victim goes to the website where the web application is. They log in with their administrative credentials, right? We have to make sure that the security level's on low, and as soon as they visit the guest book, right, boom, there's a connection because the malicious code that the attacker had placed in the guest book is read when the victim just visits the page. So I visit the page and the code executes. I can't even see the code here, right? And sure enough, it sends my cookie, my administrative session ID, to the attacker. So now all the attacker has to do is right-click on this and copy that cookie and see if they can get in and get to that site with administrative privileges. So now what we'll do is we will, in Firefox, what we'll do is we'll run tamper data, which we have running already, right? So I've got tamper data running. Once again, tools, tamper data, and we will visit that web page at 172, there you go, DVWA. We visit the web page. We log in. We don't know what the username and password is because we're an attacker. So we say attacker, right, no pass, right? And we log in. Now instantly, right, you can see tamper data is seeing stuff. I didn't hit start to tamper. Maybe I'll do that now. So I'll hit start tamper, right? And then I'll go back to the home page here. I'll get rid of that and just go back to the home page, and then it asks me, do I want to tamper with this request? So I'll click tamper, and you can see instantly it stops the request, and I can see the cookie right here, PHP session ID, and I'll just delete that. So now there's no PHP session ID, and I'll paste the one that I was able to get from the netcat listener, which got that session ID. So now I'll just paste that in there with Control V, right? There it is. And I'll click OK, right? And let's see here. All right. And you can see now I'm in the site. So I was able to get administrative privileges. Even though I logged in with attacker, I'm now logged in as admin with privileges. So I was able to get and bypass the security by placing the stolen session ID cookie using the tamper data plugin in Firefox and changing the cookie when I requested to get to that login page. And that's it. So there you go. There's the attack. Stolen cookie session ID, and you're into the web page with administrative privileges, unbeknownst to the user who's actually logged in there at the same time, right?